Okay, so in this guide I'll walk you through setting up your FoxESS inverter to Home Assistant using the Modbus integration. First of all, just to remind ourselves what we're going to be connecting together. So on the bottom of, in this case, a H1 inverter under port F, you have the Ethernet port. That's just going to be a regular RJ45 LAN port that you can plug into your internet router. If you're not fortunate enough to have a long network cable or, to be easily accessible to connect a network cable from your internet router to the inverter, use something like this. These are power line adapters, so on the bottom of them they've got a network port. Plug one of them in by your home router, connect it with the network cable, plug the other one into a power socket that is near the inverter, connect it with a network cable. Just important to note that you're not going to be able to use the EPS port or an EPS setup to power this power line adapter, because that may filter out the signals that these systems rely on. If it's not feasible to run a system like this up by the inverter, then you could always do something like this. So you could plug the USB port and power it off the inverter. There's a USB under the inverter, and that then uses this small purple box that will convert your Wi-Fi network into a LAN connection that you can then plug into that port F. So you could do all of this if you don't have mains power or a mains power socket next to your inverter. Buy a cheap little device like this, £23, and that will sort the problem out for you. We're going to be using this project. This project is the FoxESS to Home Assistant via Modbus project, community built. So we're going to set a few things up. So I've got a Home Assistant installation that's brand new from scratch. I've got this project open in one tab, and we're going to get an inverter that's connected to the network working, just so you can see what the installation looks like. So first of all, over in Home Assistant, have to give it a name, and there we go. Perfect. Got Home Assistant. Let's just set this. Set this a little bit further out. Okay. Next. It'll detect any integrations it can do over the network anyway, but this is a completely from scratch installation of Home Assistant. First thing we want to do is go to settings and then add-ons, and you'll notice if you don't have any add-ons yet, head over to the store. Okay, so the bottom right we'll click add-on store. If it says you're missing an add-on, you've got to enable the advanced mode. I already know we have to do this anyway, so I'm going to click on that link, and then I'm going to enable the advanced mode. Go back to add-ons, back to add-on store. You'll notice there's a whole host more add-ons. We're going to need just at the moment just the file manager add-on, file editor. We'll install that. And again, this is the simplest path possible just to get it all working. There's many ways of achieving the same outcome, but I'm recording a video for people that aren't super familiar with Home Assistant, trying to break it down just to easy steps. So I've got this running now. I've checked all the boxes. Wonderful. On the left-hand side, I can see File Manager. Here's my File Manager, and I can explore and I can see my root configuration file. Just going to put some space in there. You can install it through hacks. It's a little bit more advanced. It's not quite plug and play yet. There's still some editing that has to happen. So I don't see any disadvantage in just copying the files manually right now. What you need to do is go into the custom components folder, go into configuration, hit these two squares for copy contents, go back, paste in that content underneath the existing pieces that were there. You're going to need to choose whether you're connecting to Modbus using a USB adapter, which is not to be confused with that WAN adapter. So the Wi-Fi adapter I showed you earlier on. There are also small USB devices that can directly connect to your Home Assistant. We're going to be using the LAN port. So we're going to remove the USB line there and hit save. Next thing we need to do, go back to custom components, and we want we don't want the manifest, we want the Modbus LAN. Again, if you were using the USB, you'd use the Modbus USB. We're using Modbus LAN, and we're going to copy the file name, and we're going to create a new file, and it's going to be called Modbus LAN YAML. And where's it gone? There it is. There it is. It's right there. And we just have to edit this because it's not in a subfolder anymore. It's just sat in the root directory. So we've got the Modbus include file pointing to the file. Great. And there is our file modbus lan.yaml. It's all identical. Go into this file, same again, copy the contents of it, go back to your file editor, paste it in. These are all the registers that the inverter is going to be exposing through the LAN port. So just going to remove that hash mark there to give the name. And you can store the IP address in a secret. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to type it in. So this is the IP address that my inverter is connected to my network. So it will be the Wi-Fi device, or even you can find the IP address of the device on your home internet router. You'll often have a devices page. You'll be able to find the IP address. If you can't find it, just use an IP scanner and find the device that way. But you need to enter here. After removing that hash mark for the name, you're then going to need to enter the IP address that inverter is on the LAN using. Hit save. Let's just recap what we've done. So we've gone into configuration, pasted all of that. We've set the location of the Modbus file. The Modbus file is here. We've removed the hash mark under name, and we've given it an IP address. That should be all that's required. So let's go to settings, system, restart. Let's see if that worked. First time, no takes. Okay, perfect. So now we've got some data starting to come in. You can see the PV power, PV voltages. It's all starting to populate. You'll notice a few things will say unknown, and they'll remain as unknown until it starts to have some data that's present. So we've successfully created an integration between Home Assistant and the Fox inverter using the LAN Modbus project. We can now build some dashboards. We could populate the energy board, so we could go to settings, dashboards, and click energy. You could put in here your grid consumption property, which I think is called grid daily, and you could set the costs if you wanted to set up the cost. And this will be, I think it's called feed in daily. This is PV1 daily, PV2 daily, batteries, energy going to the battery. And to the battery is charge daily, coming from is discharge battery. If you've got a gas, water, or individual device, you can set those up as well. When you've done that, you'll notice under the energy board you'll have this, and this data will start populating as well. Might need a little bit more finessing as you set it all up, and you can build some interesting dashboards. So if we go create a new dashboard as an example, and if we just start off with a blank, there we go, and we're just going to create a gauge, and we're going to set the gauge to the property state of charge. Perfect. There we go. We've now got a dashboard showing the state of charge of the battery. We can edit the dashboard. We can add some other things. So we could say we're going to want a gauge again for the PV power now. Boom. So I'm making 182 watts off of this inverter. And you just keep going. Have another one for, we've got ambient temperature, we've got battery temperature. Battery temperature. You just keep going, you get the idea. You can build some really advanced dashboards. There's tons of YouTube content out there to consume about how you can customize, and a lot of people on the group have made some pretty impressive dashboards, but we've got a successful outcome. We've got Home Assistant integrated with Fox locally, and you'll notice that these figures will be updating in real time. So every few seconds they're going to be updating, which is great. You know, longer dependent on the cloud, and that sort of 5-minute delay. This will be changing every few seconds depending on if the value changes. So you've got next to live data, really useful if you're driving automations off it. Thank you.